G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host SmilePie, and today we're playing Railway Empire 2. So between the last video and now, I have gone in and I have done some improvements to the Albany passenger station. So what you can see at the moment is I've updated the approaches into Albany Station, and I've set a bunch of what we can call destination platforms. So you'll see this train, for example, coming into platform 1 on this station comes from New York. This train comes from Boston, and I believe we've left space here for this future line on platform 3 will come from Philadelphia. So that's an update to that part of the network that I've done in between apps. The other update that I've done as well is, you'll recall, this connection to the grain farm down here was going to clash with the departure for the realigned passenger tracks. So what I've done is I've straightened, I've reassigned where the grain farm joins the freight network. So it comes along all the way down here onto our freight main line, and then it has a chance to return back to Albany that way, or it can go up to Boston that way, or it can go down to New York that way. And at the same time, I also realigned the cotton or wool and timber line. So instead of coming to the south and going, crossing a bridge down here and joining the main line there, it now joins onto this spur track, and that way we keep just one bridge across the river for that freight spur network that we've created. So again, it joins the main line, and then we can send these goods to any of our 3 major cities that we'll be building up. So that's a bit of an update for us. Now, to check our task list, what we're going to be focusing on today's video, we want to complete the purchase of Barty's company, and we want to break down into the mid-Atlantic region so that we can get the population up down there. So we'll build up Philadelphia if we can break in there. We'll establish the Boston-Philadelphia Express. I'm going to hold off delivering the salt to New York because I want to do that once we've completed these 3 optional tasks. So that's what we'll be doing today. So I'll start game time. So you may notice that a few months have gone past while I was establishing this, and I guess the other thing that I did in your absence is I purchased more stock. So we're up to 60% of Barty's company, and I was in 2 minds about potentially just borrowing the rest of the money that we need, because you can see now, as our company's grown, the value of the bonds that we're able to utilize is astronomical now. So we could borrow 6 million, 6.5 mil, and just buy the rest of the company right now, and then we wouldn't have to fluff around and wait. So if I put that onto high speed, you can see how quickly our money builds up. So that's that's something that we could consider doing. So you can see our passenger network. So we've got 6. I've got 6 engines or 6 trains for each passenger destination. So you can see there's a bit of a wait while this other one is being serviced. So unfortunately, that's just something that happens in this game. So you can see now a second one's queued, so that the train that took ages in the station has caused that backlog. So there's not a lot that can be done about that unless we utilize more platforms. But this train, this other one, it's being turned around now, and it will be on its way, and these others will be able to get access into the station. So, but let's focus on what we need in New York to continue to grow New York. So we're up at 80 or 68%. Sorry. We look at the goods. we don't have beer, we don't have sugar, but we've got everything else except for these developed goods. So some of these will need to get increased. So where we have the shortfalls with these advanced goods is our production capability. So again, where it's a competition for where our money goes. So do we use our money to upgrade our factories, or do we use our money to purchase more stock of our competitor? So again, I'm going to use it to purchase stock from our competitor. So let's get another. We can get 15%. So that takes us up to 75. It won't take us very long to purchase the rest. We're getting there, and once we do get there, we'll be able to. You can see when a train breaks down on the freight line, you can see how many back up. It's how do you like them apples? Well, they're on their way again, so I guess they're just fine. So let's click that away. But on this view, as I've said previously, I like this view because you can see how much actual movement and how many trains are coming and going. We do have congestion going into Portland, so let's upgrade the Portland station because it's what would you call it? Woefully under capacity. So let's just chuck on. Let's make 4 platforms if we can. The gridiron will look at that. The gridiron is just a pain in the ass. So we could have let's make 6, and I'll show you what my intention is. Not that one. So if I do 6, I was thinking let's run the freight bypass into these like 5 and 6. So that will come into there, and then these can get extended down to here. So we'll have a gridiron of 4 here, and a gridiron of 2 there. So let's see how that goes. So you can actually adjust. So that's that one. Let's up that to 4. Let's see if obviously it's not going to work because we already tried that. But what I will do, I will demolish this little section here. Actually, I'll take it right back to that connection, and then I'll run that into there like that, and that will be a nice nice way for our freight to arrive at the station. So let's make sure we've got the direction of travel on there, which we do. And then platform 3 and 4, it can follow. We only need to run along the tracks for a little bit more, but so this is a bit of overkill what I'm doing. And then if we go back to a 4 gridiron, let's just demolish that other gridiron first. We'll get the 4 gridiron, and there's something skew if this will be one of those little game quirks. So let's just demolish all of that for now, and then this will actually I'll do it the way we had it. It doesn't like filling in things in the center. And what I mean by that, because our platform 5 and 6 isn't aligned with 3 and 4, it's just a little bit of a quirk to the game. So now if I set that to 4, there we go. So we want to, that's the way, and we'll tidy that up, and now unpause, and we're back to happy days. So So that will fix that queuing problem. We'll have two platforms for freight and 4 platforms for passengers. And that'll just clear that queuing backlog, and we'll have days of happiness and glory. So we've got research points that we could spend. So we've almost saved up enough points to purchase this new engine. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll get the new engine rather than the refrigeration car, or yeah the entry level program. So the grad program. Um, so that'll tick over pretty soon. So we'll have a new engine to play with, and that'll cost us money to upgrade all of our express passenger trains. Um, but in the meantime, let's go and buy a little bit more stock. What can we get? Let's get 5% because I like round numbers. So we're up to 80, another 20%. That'll cost us, 10 times 94 is 9.4 or 940,000. Let's have a look at our balance. So we're kind of slipping a little bit in our balance this quarter. So production's down, mail's down, passengers are down, freight is down. So we're down on everything. Our expenses are mildly up. So I think, well, I think it's because I've increased the number of engines, and they haven't had enough time to run to their fullest yet. So let's say that. Anyway, let's buy this new train set, Firefly, and we will replace our replace engines, and let's replace the locomotive. Dunham, yes. Type of route only, rural only, city and rural, freight only, express goods only. So we're going to replace all the Dunhams that are express goods only, and it's going to cost us almost $500,000. But we'll do that now, and then our trains will be faster. So when we come back to, you can, I'm not going to buy anything else. So we're breaking a speed record. So Firefly reached 45 k's an hour. So we're going all right. If I run it back to normal speed, you can see these trains. These trains are moving like a blur compared to the slow old freight trains. So there is marginal difference, but let's zoom right in and find one of these bad boys, and let's ride along for a bit. So you can see the different shape. If we come along the side of the train here, we'll see our old mate and Knackers. They're having a nice chat, nice conversation. It's a lovely day. One of those bland workplace conversations, I guess. And let's just move along the passenger coach. Again, just having doing the old sea captain trick. Are there any lookers? And that's in the eye of the beholder, of course. So yeah, where are we at with New York? We're up to 85,000. We're still growing. So that's good. Well, it'll be university time pretty soon in New York, so that'll be one of our purchases. Let's purchase another set of stocks. So another 10%. Oh, come on. It doesn't want to do it. Let's do 8 because that's where the mouse ended up. 12% off. So, and let's tilt the speed. So we're almost there. Now let's just check our other factories. So apples, we're pretty much at full production for apples. We've got 2 trains coming out of there, one going to Albany, one going to Boston. Ideally, we'd also have one going to New York, but we'd have to increase the production level. So that'll cost us 780,000. So once we bought this other company, we can really look at doing things like that. The milk is only going to cost us 689,000. So we really need to look at things like that because that's what's holding us back. So again, we've got one going to Albany, one going to Boston. So we're short, generally short on cheese. We're generally short on liquor. What else is New York short on? So liquor, cheese, timber, furniture, sugar, corn. We could probably increase corn production as well. So let's have a look at our corn farm. So, oh, we've got corn there, but maybe we're short on trains. So we've got corn to New York City, corn to Albany, and they've only got 1 train each. So let's I thought Albany has corn in the warehouse. So let's up the number of trains to, that's got 2, and then New York corn, we'll give them 2 as well. And actually, I noticed just before I clicked away, New York has is getting their wheat from here. I'd say that's a remnant. So let's get it from here. So let's change that. Let's change that origin from that to that, and let's make it 2. We'll confirm that. Now the number 1 train's going to have to fluff around a little bit to get back to here, but it'll get done. I've also noticed Syracuse has a fair old backlog. So let's just put some extra tracks on Syracuse, and then that way that'll help just in general. So we don't need to have that paused while we're doing this. Yeah, it's almost like maintenance. I'm just going to put 6 on because that'll just help everything that needs to get through Syracuse without stopping. So let's take that back to max. Please be long enough. Sometimes minor things can be annoying. And this is one of those sometimes. So I'm sure this will be enough this time. If we also had a multiple track builder, that would be very handy. That would be super helpful. So those trains can go in there now, and I need to do the same on the other side. So let's see if we're able to do that. And I want to run it out to about there, and hopefully that's enough. So obviously, of course, if we wanted to be a lot more refined and intricate, we could individualize each track, each platform, but we're not going to do that in this specific scenario. And now, if I zoom back out, you'll see the backlog starting to clear because all of those trains are starting to move through the station or into the station itself. So that's a win, and you get the you can understand why bypass tracks are so important, because yeah, that way it doesn't delay any of your passenger or goods deliveries. So yeah, I'd definitely consider setting up a separate yeah, freight or passenger line, given the speed of the passenger trains now. So, but all of these things are trying to get out at the same time, and we're just caught in this backlog. But not going to do anything about it because it's not our objective yet. But it is causing Albany to shrink, so that's a concern. All right. Well, all of that analysis is good, Smile Pie, but let's just get the rest of this stock purchased, and we can keep moving right along in this game. So that's going to be the balance. So we've taken over his company, which is what we wanted. That's good. Now, do we have to? We still have to purchase. We got a ton of cash now though from his business. So let's buy that, and I will click on his station just out of interest. Oh, we can't. Let's. So what we'll do is we will merge the companies. So if I do merger, that will merge us into one, and I will liquidate everything because I don't want to keep anything from his. Like all he acts as is a blockage. So we're going to take everything and we'll end up with an extra 4 million to our name. So let's do that. So he's gone. We've got a wad of cash. Devour's enemy. Damn right, we devoured the enemy, and not in a yeah. Anyway, let's continue. So just pause game for a moment. We've got some connection bonuses, but they're so pitiful compared to our mighty sum of cash that they almost pass into the realm of who gives a shit. So let's so we got Boston up at 120. New York, what are you on? 989. So let's let's head down to Philadelphia and to Washington and the rest of it. So we can get down to Charlottesville as well. So let's go for it. So start by building a station. And that Meatworks is in the most inconvenient location. How annoying. Whoa. It wants $5 million for the industry. Oh. Level 2 industry. Okay, that's nice. So let's put one station right there, and we'll. The angle that I'm choosing is to assist our departure. So if we put it on that angle, our trains will depart on that angle, and that will make things easier. Whereas when they approach, they can sort of curve up and come in from this way. So let's build ourselves. So that will be the freight station. So I'm going to build two lines at once. So let's see if we can do the second Philly station. See if that lets us do it. It might not let us do it first up. So let's just build the freight connection from New York to Philly. Now we want the train line to come all the way across here, and we'll tie into that first platform out there. So that will hopefully it allows us to build this between here and there. It's not going to. What a bloody nuisance. And it's because the departure side of the freight terminal is outside the city limits. So that is very much an annoyance. But it is what it is. Let's just get this thing rolling. So that's done. Let's do the second track. So we're not going to be fancy with our freight line just yet. Maybe not ever in this direction of travel. There we go. And now I've connected the freight. Oh, let's put a service tower on, or supply tower. Now we can build the passenger terminal down here as well. So let's do that. Train station. That'll do. Now for our lines, in the earlier games we'd been talking about having a dedicated line for Philadelphia, another one for Washington, and another one for something else south. So I think that's Washington, and that's Charlottesville. So let's stick to that. So thinking ahead, we want Charlottesville line to be on the outside, I guess. Or anyway, let's just build a track. We'll work it out later. So this one is going to be our Philadelphia track. And if we build that and we keep it straight, so let's do that. That's fine. Let's actually get rid of that point. See what that does. Makes the bridge a touch longer. I'm just fiddling with the topography now to shorten that bridge, and I think that is the trick. So let's do that. I will double up this track. And we've got the direction of travel there. That's looking good. Okay, so let's establish some supply towers on this line as well. So that should do us. And let's get some trains going. So now we will need to get the express line hooked up as well. So let's have a look at that. So we've got our task complete. So that's completed. So Virginia region, we're not there yet, but we'll get there. We're in the mid-Atlantic now, so we can do that. And 3 cities with 120, we're on that path as well. So let's concentrate on getting the Boston to Philadelphia line done. And to do that, we'll need to get the tracks around into the bypass here. So let's do that as well. So these can be a bit of a stretch, and that'll adjust. Let's 6 of one, half a dozen the other, as they say. So let's do that. Let's do that. And we'll set the direction of travel. So that, hey, what are you doing? All right, so that's set. Let's have a train go from. So we've only got the we don't have the fancy setup down here. We've only got the 2-track setup. That'll do for now. But let's get some trains set up. So Philadelphia 2, which we'll rename to Philadelphia Express. Let's run that up to Boston Express. So we'll rename that uh, E E E um, Philadelphia to Boston, and we're going to have a not a Dunham but a Firefly. Um, let's run 2. Let's not get ambitious yet. Mail car, we'll include the mail car. It's going to cost us 100 grand. That's fine. Nothing else to press on, so let's press on. And then we'll also have the New York to Philadelphia train. So new rail line, New York City Express to Philadelphia 2, which I'll rename shortly. Let's put the E on there. Let's take off the Express. I did start changing some of the New York City naming conventions just to NYC because the names were getting a bit lengthy in the description, but um, I won't bother doing that for now. So again, we'll run 2 trains. So Philadelphia itself, it's only got 20,000 people. In terms of passenger demand, 21 passengers per week going to New York, and then to Boston we've got 14. I'd say there's a fair load going the other way though. So if we were to look at passengers wanting to go down to Philadelphia, it's at 21. So once Philadelphia builds up in size a bit more, we'll start to see these larger numbers as we do in Albany and Boston. So it's still on pause. Boston and Albany extends network. Damn right we did. So we've got those trains running now. Uh, let's let's rename these. So that's Philadelphia Express, but we also need maintenance depots. Otherwise, we'll be in for some drama. So Philadelphia Freight. Philadelphia Freight. Let's put an engine on you, a maintenance depot on you, and a maintenance depot on. Oh, I've selected the train. Yep. And that's that. So that's good. So they're done. We've got more trains waiting to be deployed. So once they build distance, we'll be able to deploy those, and that will turn out all right. Ooh, so quarterly balance. So our quarterly balance is well up this month just because of the merger. So I won't even look at those stats because they'll be all skewed. But we do have an industry that we can install in New York. So what should we put in New York? We've got more milk that we could run there. We've got wood up there. We've got furniture over here. We could put more liquor. That could be useful. But we'd be drawing off the same same sugar and same fruit. Yeah, what should we do? What's the best item to put in there? Let's just have a click and have a look at our options. Ceramics is probably the worst one that we need. Possibly another beer production. So, because where's the beer down here? We lack beer. Let's just keep it basic and put beer. Let's put a brewery in. And they're all in really terrible locations. So let's put it over here. There we go. And we should probably increase our level of wheat that's going into. Oh, there's 2 already, so maybe not. But anyway, we were talking about increasing the size of our factories. So let's do that right now. So the distillery we need to increase. That will increase our production. We can look at our sawmill, and that will increase our production. That's pretty cheap. Maybe we could do it again. 840. We've got heaps of money. Let's do that. And our meat industry there, let's also increase that. And if we put it up by 1 level, that will help us. So the inputs into those, we're actually lacking cattle. Let's ramp up the cattle importing. We've got heaps of timber, so that will be produced now. Sugar, we've got. Fruit, we've got, but I think we needed to increase our fruit production as well. So let's do that. We also needed to increase our milk production again because we're churning through milk like there's no tomorrow. As you can see, we've spent $1 million, almost 1.1 million, but we've collected 800,000 in the short time that we've had this site established. So they are worth. Look at all these trains backing up. So we've got a congestion problem here that we'll need to solve, and let's get that done. I'm going to upgrade the veggies as well. I think they're suffering from the backlog problem, so it's not a. But that what we'll need to do there is separate the freight tracks from that main station. So, because really it's a bottleneck which has been created, which no one can unclog, or it's getting unclogged very slowly. So let's how annoying. Let's solve that now by building a second station. So we'll rotate that around. This will be our passenger station. And essentially, so this is our passenger line here. We'll have that come up. That it can cross the river here and tie into our station. Let's build that. And let's demolish this connection here because it's a bit skew if anyway. And we will. That's on the outside, so let's take that to the outside. That will. There we go. That'll work all right. Let's run that back to here. Let's run some extras. So I'm just going to do this as we say. It's just going to be quick and dirty. So I won't worry about intricacies there or fancy bypasses or even specific destination platforms. We'll just get it done. So let's run you straight out, and we'll tie you into that. Let's have more of a bend. We'll duplicate this big boy. So that's that one. So set directions of travel. Haven't done that on this side either. Direction of travel, we'll need to set a supply tower. Let's only do one. We'll do one up here as well. We needed additional platform entry. And we'll demolish those DAGs. So goodbye DAGs. Let's rename the station to Syracuse Express. Put a maintenance depot in there. This one we will rename to Syracuse Freight. Freight for it. There we go. And we'll have some passenger trains that need to be reassigned. And yeah, so let's reassign those trains. So if we click on the Syracuse station, anything that has an E in it, let's fix it to, let's change the station that it's actually going to. So Syracuse Freight, no. Syracuse Express, yes. That's what we want. So confirm that. Now Buffalo to Syracuse, we want to change the station from Syracuse Freight to Syracuse Express. So that's that one done. So let's see. We'll unpause that and let's see how that goes. So I think we're coming up to the end of the video. We'll just see how this backlog goes once creative accounting. Do we need that? Let's just buy it because we've got lots of money anyway. So, and we've only paid 389,000. So that's good. This backlog will clear shortly, and all the passenger trains will go into here, and we'll ease our congestion. Our vegetables will be on their way soon enough, as well as our trains from Ottawa and so on. Actually, our trains from Ottawa is going to be a problem, but we'll solve it on our next episode. So I'd like to thank everyone for sticking to the end. Please remember to like and subscribe. And remember, with small bites, every pie can be eaten. Thank you.